My generation knows Sears as a rundown department store with nothing that we particularly want to buy. But there was a time when Sears was the place that everyone wanted to shop. It had everything you could ever need or want. They even sold houses. People bought from a wide variety of clothes, tools, appliances, and more. So where did Sears go wrong in their 125 years of operation? Sears was originally founded by Richard Sears in 1893. He and his friend Alva Roebuck started off selling jewelry and diamonds. And then the store developed into retail, and it had a catalog and it had stores in prime locations. They were innovative in the beginning, making sure that they stayed ahead of the curve, but something definitely changed in the past 20 years. In 2005, Eddie Lampert gained control of Sears and combined it with another failing retailer, Kmart. His plans would never come to fruition for his newly formed company that he called Sears Holdings. The first big problem with the modern Sears was the number of divisions inside the organization and the decentralized nature of it. Lampert separated the employees into 40 different divisions, each with their own executive team and board. This caused not only an increase in price, but a lack of cohesion within the company. This would prove extremely detrimental for any kind of strategic goals to improve Sears. Each division had to compete for money and resources with each other, which caused a feeling of belonging to completely different companies, even when they did not. It was common for separate divisions to even have contracts with each other. This made it hard for coordination to start at the top and work its way down. The cost of these divisions has also been called into question, with the executives of these divisions getting high salaries while the company was struggling to stay afloat. Lampert also added to the decentralization as an individual. He would only visit the company headquarters once a year. The rest of the year, he would stay at his island off the coast of Florida, nicknamed the Billionaire Bunker. With him becoming CEO in the beginning of 2013, this only added to the problem. And this will lead us to talk about his poor leadership skills in the next section.
CEO Lampert established a culture of fear and had the wrong kinds of leadership. Lampert was very distant in his managing style. He operated the company through video chats or phone call meetings. Lampert operated the company on an island off the coast of Florida, nicknamed Billionaire Bunker. Most employees never saw Lampert, but always felt like he was watching. Lampert used coercive power with his employees. He had the need for power. Lampert established fear into his employees. He used fear to motivate his workers to be better and make better decisions, but he had a short fuse and would often go off on employees. Employees were terrified of Lampert during meetings. If they were to say wrong words like consumer instead of members referring to the shoppers, they would get shredded, said a former vice president. Most employees would only speak off the record reporters. They were afraid of legal actions taken by Lampert if they were to talk to reporters. NDAs were very common when working with Sears. There was a revolving door of executives at Sears, and this did not help company morale. Lampert is a large investor as well as chairman. Sears had terrible management practices because there was no stability at the top. Employees would be scared to come into work because one wrong move could be their last. Lampert split the company into 40 divisions, which increased costs majorly. Each division reported profits separately and competed for money and resources. Each division had its own senior management with their own board. Each division acted like different companies and would have to compete against each other. Lampert says his strategy was to move the company into the digital era, but the online presence never gained any traction.
A major factor that led to the downfall of Sears was the flawed decision-making process of the managers. Their decision-making process can be best described by the administrative model of decision-making. The model states that when faced with a decision situation, managers have a tendency to use incomplete and imperfect information. They are also constrained by bounded rationality and tend to satisfy. This was definitely true for the managers at Sears. They continued to make several bad decisions that did not serve the best interests of the organization. In order to cut costs, the managers chose not to invest in their stores. They did not provide regular repairs, updates, and improvements. The managers believed they were saving the organization money, but instead, they were driving out their customers. Furthermore, they had many issues with their suppliers. As Sears failed to make payments, the suppliers demanded new payment terms or threatened to cancel their contracts. Due to this conflict, the managers decided to end contracts with major brands such as Kenmore and Whirlpool to save costs. This backfired because the number of customers that visited Sears had decreased even more. This was a perfect example of satisficing. The managers did not look for other alternatives and instead lost major brands that brought several customers. At this point, Sears was amassing large amounts of debt and drastically decreasing its customer base. When they had to make loan payments, the CEO decided to sell off prime real estate and closed more than half of the stores. This is an example of bad irrationality. In order to make the payment, the CEO sold off the best properties Sears owned. It did generate revenue temporarily, but Sears was only left with the support of its weakest stores. All of these decisions made by the managers were clearly detrimental to the organization. Their use of incomplete and imperfect information led to a faster downward spiral, causing the company to file bankruptcy.
One reason for Sears' eventual bankruptcy came from their inability to adapt to the modern customer. The company that used to be number one in retail is now at the bottom of the list for many consumers. In recent years, Sears has not really changed how they go about business. Dysfunction seems to occur at all levels of management at Sears, beginning at top managers, to middle managers, and finally to first-line managers. When these three layers aren't working cohesively, it is easy to see why Sears was never a learning organization. Entropy also played a huge role in Sears' bankruptcy in 2018. Managers at all levels didn't address issues when they arose, leading to a steady decline that inevitably led to failure. Sears used to be a powerhouse and a pioneer in the retail industry. In the early 1900s, Sears became a household name by providing their products through mail order catalogs, catering to those who lived in rural areas. Almost 100 years ago, Sears opened its front doors in Chicago. This store also included a soda fountain and an optical shop. Ideas in the 90s weren't near as popular as these, as Sears began to make desperate attempts at diversification to compete with stores such as Walmart and Home Depot. Also during this time, Sears discontinued its catalog, taking away a signature trait of their brand. Multiple problems such as these occurred at the top manager level, including the inability to compete with other e-commerce retailers. Sears has tried tactics such as integrating a rewards program to help continue bringing customers into the store, but at the end of the day, it's fallen short. Customers can use reward points for discounts and free shipping, but they are still losing out to companies such as Amazon. However, perhaps the biggest reason for Sears' decline in the past decade is their lack of convenience. Companies such as Amazon and Walmart offer free 2-day shipping with low minimum purchases. As a consumer myself, I also appreciate that Walmart and Amazon don't offer many coupons, but rather offer their lowest price from the get-go. If Sears is to survive in modern times, it may truly be now or never for the former retail giant.
To summarize this presentation, I believe that Sears showed poor leadership throughout the company. One way that they showed poor leadership was through deciding to decentralize their company. This decision proved to be a horrible one due to it being too expensive to pay their executives and boards for each division. Another reason why this decision was a poor one was due to it causing a lack of cohesion between employees. I also believe that Sears showed poor leadership through creating a culture of fear throughout their company. This kept many employees scared of speaking up and caused the company to lack diversity in opinions. Another poor decision that Sears made was through lacking an investment in their companies when compared to their competitors such as JCPenney, Best Buy, and Kohl's. This lack of investment caused them to lose many prominent brands, which had a major impact on their business. This lack of investment also caused the company to have major issues within their own stores, such as lack of inventory and having toilets that failed to work. Sears also lacked innovation, which is crucial for a company's survival in this competitive field. One way in which Sears lacked innovation was through refusing to better their online retails. Sears did not act soon enough and was passed by many of their competitors. In the future, I believe that the first step Sears must make is through electing new officers to run their company. Also, they must invest in online retail to keep up with their competitors. Additionally, they must also update the inside of their stores to enhance their customer experience. I also believe that Sears must regain many of their prominent brands to help bring in new customers. Experts believe that Sears will not succeed, and I believe that they will not if they do not continue to fix these issues that they face.